5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
It's back. Yes, it is. Sloppy seconds. Thanks to Josh for the show earlier. I've just relieved Barry Fry's still alive. If you wonder what I'm talking about, you've got to watch the show. Look, thanks very much. Hey, what I'm moving is back is the Derby's back. I do like these derbies. I do. I think sort of when we were in the sort of the top flight for so long, Villa wasn't really a derby. Do you know what I mean? And Forest weren't there, Derby weren't there, and it's nice to have them back. Always a little bit of extra spice. And I remember I used to work. Funny enough, I lived in Burnley for a long time, and I used to work in Burnley as well. And where I worked, there was a Coventry fan. And we had a bet twice a season as to who was going to win the game. It was a pound a bet. It wasn't exactly sort of, high stakes or anything like that. But it was always a bit of fun. But this is the preview show. As you can see, Leicester City versus Coventry. It's the early kick-off again. Thank you, Sky, for that. I'm working till 10 at the weekends, and you go and do that to me. But there we go. But thanks for joining us. Do get your comments in, and we'll respond to those if we can as we go through. Please smash the like, subscribe, and if you're watching this on catch-up, you can add comments below and do the same, like and subscribe. And finally, if you are listening to us via your favourite podcast platform, thank you very much. I will get my guest in, but this is the preview show. Jay, good evening, sir. How the devil are you?
I'm very well. Yourself?
I'm very well, thank you very much. Yes. Whether I'll still be like that at lunchtime on Saturday, who knows?
I hope not. Well, I hope so, actually, yeah. Oh. See how it goes.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting day.
Look, and it hasn't been a while because it's only been 2 seasons. And, before that, it was a long time. Do you miss the derbies, or do you how much of a derby do you see this as?
Yeah, it's a bit of a funny one because a lot of people call it a derby. Some people don't. Is it a rivalry? Is it a derby? Again, it's sort of a derby for me. You got Newcastle, Sunderland, the Merseyside derby, the Manchester derby, the North London derby, very close proximities. Some people may call it a rivalry. To be honest, I don't really care what it is. It's a good, fierce sort of game that we sort of tend to have. Both teams want to win for football reasons and a little bit more as well, which is always good. It's always nice to have that little bit of spice in there. Like you guys said earlier, we used to, again, many years ago when I spoke to Coventry, when we, believe it or not, we were in the Premiership a while ago. We used to have our derby used to be probably Villa, but the thing was Villa were sort of up here, we were down here, so it was sort of it was a rivalry, but we used to get sort of beat most times, which is quite sad. But this one, even the Birmingham one for us as well, It's sort of we're sort of relatively on par nowadays, I would say. Obviously, you guys have come down from the Premiership. Sorry to remind you, but I sort of see that we're maybe a little bit on a bit more of a level playing field this season. So hopefully, it should be a good feisty game.
Yeah, I mean, 9 seasons you were in the top flight, or is it 9 or 10 seasons you were in the top flight, one after the other. I think at some point you maybe held the record.
38 years, I think it was. We were in the, obviously including League One before it changed to the Premier League. So we were there for a hell of a long time. I at one point until I was 20, I only knew top flight football. That was it. Not so much since then.
And then Sky and the money came along, and it all went tits up. I mean, it's funny because you've had your troubles recently. We have been there twice before when we had to be sort of bought out and saved. Once by Gary Lineker, once by Milan Mandrić. So we know what it's like. But we're sort of on a bit of a different trajectory at the moment. You're sort of going upwards, and we've kind of had our moment in the sun, and we're kind of going back down a bit.
Your moment was very spectacular. Let's say that. I don't like to admit it, but it was some hell of a moment. To be honest with you, so I'll take that in a heartbeat. It's going really, really well. Last couple of years. Obviously, Mark Robbins came in. There was MD in the background as well. There's a lot of help that sort of went on, and sort of, I think the club sort of got a bit disconnected from the fans at one point because of the owners that we had, and they used to sell anyone that had a bit of talent. They were selling them cheap, and then not reinvesting that sort of small bit of money that they got as well. So there's a lot of disconnect. Obviously, people are well averse to the issues we had with our home. And stuff like that. So there was a real disconnect. But then Mark Robbins came back in with a team behind him and sort of really gave the club back to Coventry and its fans effectively. Robbins, obviously, everyone knows the story about Mark Robbins, what he did for our club. Got us from League 2 to a kick away from the Premier League. So that close from sort of achieving the goal that he had. But then in the sort of background as well, he sort of did everything on a shoestring budget. And then a couple of years ago, Doug King came in, brought the club off Sisu, and since then he's done, I think, probably 99.9% of stuff right for the club, and it's really heading in a great trajectory at the moment, in a sort of an upward trend really, and he's doing everything in a nice, sustainable way. And obviously recently purchased our CBS, got us our home back, which is absolutely fantastic. Again, it's one of those things that you wished for, but you never really imagined happening. Again, I remember the days of Highfield Road. That's when I sort of I grew up with football at Highfield Road, and then you don't sort of tend to have a home, and it's a weird feeling. It's a strange feeling having, even though the little things that the stadium's quite dated at the moment. The tannoy's rubbish. The Wi-Fi doesn't work as soon as the game kicks off and stuff. So being able to put those sort of things in place is really, really good. And it's a good time to be a Coventry fan at the moment. Hopefully, even more so Saturday afternoon.
Well, obviously, I hold on. I mean, the funny thing is, here we are. We're two teams that play in blue, and we're both wearing green.
I know. So, yeah.
Who knew?
Match outfit, yeah.
I mean, we never got to the point of, with the stadium. I mean, our stadium we didn't own when King Power bought us, and one of the first things they did, although we were at that time, it was Milan Mandrić that was in. They did the same. They bought the stadium back for us, and I mean, was it Nuneaton you were playing at one season?
Northampton. So we were at Northampton. Birmingham had a game at Burton Albion as well. So we were here, there, and everywhere really. And then even one point when we were back in the CBS, the owners basically had I think Olympics rugby sevens tournament going on at the time. So they completely, as you imagine, rugby completely destroyed the pitch, and then we were due to play the next week, and then for about 3-4 weeks we couldn't play on the pitch, which was absolute pain. So there's loads of little niggly things like this. They just kept cropping up over the period of time. But there's 2 seasons we were 100% out of the stadium, which is it was a massive annoyance.
How dark were those days? I mean, when I don't think it really hit us. The first time we went out of business, funnily enough, it was we'd we'd been doing all right under Martin O'Neill, and then he left to go to Celtic, which I never begrudged him because it was his team. And we got Peter Taylor in, who took a decent team and ruined it, and we got relegated in the second season. And that's when all the things went wrong. You know, we were committed to big wages, as you do, and what have you. But I don't know. There was a part of me that never thought. Maybe it was because I was younger then. Never thought that we'd go sort of out of business. And then the second time, it all kind of happened behind closed doors. And we managed to get Milan Mandaric in, who saved the club, who then sold it to King Power. But how for you, as a Coventry fan? Must have been awfully, awfully dark times for you.
Yeah, extremely. We were literally on the verge of a collapse as a club. It was the football was terrible. We weren't doing very well. We were any bit of money we were having, we were spending on mediocre players. It was just a really strange time to be a fan. And again, I've lived in London for the last 16 odd years or so, and I was at university and stuff. So I haven't lived in Coventry for quite a while. So. I travelled down as much as I can. So last season I went to about 15 games and stuff. So I'm not I'm not there week in week out, unfortunately. But that's where I've been over the last few years. So again, I get down. I got to a couple of games at Northampton. Didn't go to Birmingham at all. But it was very strange. It's sort of you go to support your team, but it's almost like it was a chore. It was a bit of torture. It was a bit of it was horrible. You used to go, but at the same time, you're like, I really can't bother to go today. There wasn't any pleasure going to support your team, but it's almost like it's something you had to do. You had to go to. Again, a lot more fans than me would have gone more regularly and sort of supported the team on a sort of more regular basis, admittedly. But yeah, again, there were dark times where. Obviously, we got relegated a couple of times. We were on the verge. Well, we went to administration, on the verge of going bust. Sisu came in, and in hindsight, were pretty terrible owners. They did save us, so you've got to sort of give them credit for that. A bit same like Birmingham. Again, like Leicester, you sort of got a nice friendly rivalry with them. You hope I'm a big fan of Midlands clubs doing well, but I don't want you to do better than us, kind of thing, as well. So, but again, you have to sort of take your hats off to Birmingham because effectively they did help us out for a season. As well, so there were a lot of dark times, a lot of moments where you thought it was painful to support your club, which is a horrible thing to think about now in hindsight because we're doing so well. It's almost you feel a bit silly supporting the team now as much as you do. Again, I'll probably go to maybe a couple more games than I used to, but obviously it's well known that our crowds have shot up massively over the last couple of years because of the success that's come back. But then also it's the success, but also a lot of work that Mark Robbins and his backroom team did to start connecting the players to the fans. We used to have a lot of sort of meet and greet kind of scenarios and a lot of this sort of stuff, media and all the media stuff they used to do. So basically Robbins did give the club back to the fans, which is one of the things we love him for. Yeah,
I mean, I think probably 2016-17. I'm just looking here. That was when you were relegated down to the League Two.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me.
That's all right. So, well, you reminded me we were relegated. So we won all. Yeah, you were only down there one season. In fairness to you, but you also won the what was it? You won that season. Was it the league? No,
Trader Cup
trophy. Well, AFL trophy. Was it Checker Trader that
time?
The
Checker Trader. How can you forget? Big trophy that is.
These things change names.
They do.
Often, they do. You know. And were you at that point thinking, God, if this gets worse, we're out of the Football League totally?
Yeah.
You've been around a while.
It was me personally, yeah. It was a nervy sort of period of time because before Mark Robbins came, we had Russell Lade come in, and again the football was horrible, absolutely horrible football. Robbins came in, and I remember that Checker Trader final. I took my dad for the first time. He hasn't been for years to a Coventry match himself. He's not a massive football fan, but took him, a few of my cousins, uncles and stuff. We all went down, and it felt for me. Obviously, we had some good a period before that when Robbins came in, but that sort of felt to me the turning point for the club. It sort of gave us a little bit of belief and sort of some, I don't know, yeah, a bit of a buzz to be back in a bit of a limelight as well. Had a fantastic day, really, really good day. Again, come back for the glory, but there was so many Coventry fans who were playing Exeter compared to the Exeter fans. And it was a great day out, but then that gave us a little bit of belief and sort of a little bit of momentum pushing forward. And obviously the rest is history, effectively.
Yeah. So Mark Robbins was your manager at the time?
He was, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Mark Robbins, ex-Leicester player. And actually thinking on that, because obviously we had Steve Cooper last year, which didn't go down too well with a lot of fans, because obviously he'd got the Nottingham Forest connection. Was there ever any sort of, we don't want Robbins, he used to play for Leicester or anything like that?
No, not at all. No, again, it was his second stint at the club, so he ditched us for Huddersfield when we were doing very well under him. Again, he went to Huddersfield. I think he went to Northampton as well. After that, it didn't really work out for him as well. It's one of those sort of things that Coventry, obviously doing very well at Stoke at the moment, but Coventry and Robin just needed each other at the time. I felt he did well, went away, didn't do so well, came back again, and then just really sort of connected. So there wasn't anything because he's a Leicester player. Is more of the fact that he came back. It's always that you should never go back sort of scenarios, but then luckily we did, and now we're here. Unless
you call Chris Wilder, of course, then you go back to the as you want to.
Over and over again. Yeah, I'm sure the pay packet sort of makes up for any sort of animosity there.
I mean, because obviously we've been, we had Ruud van Nistelrooy. God, that sticks in my throat as our manager. And I mean, how we actually managed to finish third bottom, I don't know, because we were bloody awful. We got so many records. We broke our own records and the league's records for the most games without scoring a goal, the most losses. And I mean, the guy was just absolutely shit. There's no other word for it, to be honest with you.
When we got rid of Robbins, he was one of the favourites to take over the Coventry job, and I think he sort of used us to get your job effectively.
Well, I wouldn't have. I mean, I'm very happy with Marty now. We'll come on to that later. But I was very much behind Mark Robbins getting the job at Leicester.
I think, especially in the situation you are at the moment, I think he would have been a brilliant shout for you guys. Obviously, with the Coventry connection, I don't know. He's a bit of an honourable man. I don't know if he would take it. But obviously, he's got the Leicester connection as well. So you never know. But again, he can perform miracles from nothing, effectively. So I know you've got a bit more than nothing. But obviously, with your financial situation at the moment, he could have done wonders with the playing stuff you've got at the moment. So yeah, would have been a good shout.
That was the thing. I mean, I looked at Mark Robbins and the job that he'd done at Coventry, which was a fantastic job. He'd seen you through all those bad times. He was there when you didn't have a ground to play at home, and he dragged you from the bottom tier back up to the Championship. So close to being in an FA Cup final, so close to being in the Premier League. And I'm thinking, look, if the guy can do that, and we're here sat here we're expecting a points deduction, then he's the man for us. And I'm really, really surprised that there was no links with him coming to us.
Yeah, well, he was in the Stoke job. Was he in the Stoke job, I think, maybe at the time? So
he was,
maybe compensation, some sort of compensation would maybe put you off. I personally thought Danny Roll would have been perfect for you guys, especially if he was out of the job. But yeah, obviously, Marty Cifuentes, again, I actually live around the corner from the QPR Stadium, so yeah, I've seen him a couple of times in action. So yeah,
I mean, I look at the Mark Robbins Coventry story pretty much like the guy that was at Bournemouth, is at Newcastle now.
Eddie Howe.
Eddie Howe, my mind. I live in Bournemouth and I couldn't remember his name. And, I can remember when I first moved down here, the players were outside the Pavilion Theatre with buckets collecting money. That's how bad it was. And he dragged them from a -17 season to the Premier League and kept them up. And had we not gone and sort of won the bloody thing, I think Bournemouth would have been the story that everybody sort of latched onto.
Yeah.
And I said to you before, whether it's yourself, whether it's Derby, I don't want to see clubs go out of business.
Yeah.
I think it's the lifeblood of the towns that you're in. There's the competition, the rivalry that's there, and I know sometimes it gets out of hand, but the rivalry is there. And I like I say, I worked in Bury for a few years, and seeing that club go out of business, I just think, how do these? Well, you said before, how do these people get the jobs? You've got the EFL and the Premier League saying like you're not running your club properly, so we're going to dock your points, and yet they can't.
Doesn't help. Docking points doesn't help at all. Again, like the only thing is, obviously, they go through these sort of checks and stuff prior. They've got loads of cash and stuff. It's a bit like the Sheffield Wednesday story at the moment. Again, Coventry and Sheffield Wednesday. Coventry obviously we have fights with everyone pretty much according to Twitter. But we obviously they still gave a bit of abuse to one of our players racially. So we've got a bit of an issue. We played about 4 times that season in very, very quick succession. But again, it's not good seeing them. But again, same with their owner. They've got a lot of money, but all of a sudden they get bored and they start. Coventry we lose about £5-6 million a year, and our owner is covering those losses. Millwall do the same, Stoke do the same. It's fantastic when your owner covers those losses, but
we do the same.
One day they may get bored, and then all of a sudden, then you've somehow got to bridge this gap and stuff, and then that's how clubs get into trouble. So it's what can the FA sort of do to put a stop to that?
They need to do something, I guess. But what it is, and like you say, docking points, and look, I just want us to be docked points to get it out of the way, because
I think it's shocking that you start the season with, again, obviously everyone knows that you're going to get docked points. It's been confirmed you're going to get docked points, but we're 5 games into the season now. Why is that sort of looming over you? It should have been done right at the beginning of the summer. Effectively, you look obviously like Man City as well. I don't know what's sort of happening there. I think it's Sheffield Wednesday. I think maybe dock points as well. But again, it's sort of, it doesn't hurt the owners at all. It may be a little bit. It hurts the fans at the end of the day. They're the ones suffering. The ones that put the money in and travel here, then everywhere. Yeah. They're the ones that sort of getting hurt because let's say you get 9-point deduction, you're sort of starting on the back foot, and your sort of ambitions for that season have gone. You should know that before you kick a ball before the beginning of the season. But also there should be some ramifications for the owners. They maybe have to put up some collateral before buying a club or something, where if you mess around, the FA will get that collateral and it goes into the club or something. Fair enough, you get dock points, but there should be some sort of benefit for the club as well if the owner messing around. Yeah,
docking points, like you say, really all it does is hurt the fans, and it doesn't help the club because the club's struggling anyway, obviously, because they're in that situation, and then they get more points deducted and they go down. Yeah, I mean, they were supposed to be in a position where they were supposed to be fast tracking all these different things. Unfortunately, I have to say, because of Leicester City and the way that we've been in the past, there's things that we didn't do. I mean, not only did we spend too much, but we also didn't put our accounts in on time. There's a lot of,
it's because of the Premier League and Championship crossover kind of thing here as well. So,
there is that. Yeah, we got out of that one, which obviously we were pleased. It didn't make any difference. We went down anyway. But we didn't, everybody says, oh, you cheated and all that. We didn't, because we won in court, and if the rules aren't written very well, then, and it was a case of why is the Premier League punishing a swimmer in the Championship?
Also, the rules are rubbish, let's face it. You've got teams like Newcastle, the richest club in the world. They're being penalised for being able to spend money when they've got the money in the bank. Villa as well, obviously quite enjoyable to see Villa struggling a little bit, but Villa again, obviously they got a lot of loans, but they can't spend any money because of FFP at the moment, and obviously now they're struggling. And again, it's almost sort of like they're put in place to make sure the big boys stay the big boys, and anyone else that wants to come up has to do it the hard way. again, unfortunately, you need. People say you buy the league and want all this sort of stuff, be it the Championship or Premiership, whatever occasion. Sunderland are buying their Premier League sort of survival. Unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, you guys being probably one of the few anomalies, you have to spend to get success. You need to spend, but then it just there's that sort of fine balance of do you spend too much and sort of risk it all and end up as Derby did, for example, and stuff like that. So there's got to be a fine balance of making sure that people don't risk too much, because at the end of the day, it's the football club, which is the community, the heart of the community of the city or town, whatever it is. But also everyone wants to sort of push the envelope a little bit just to get that little bit of success, and which you need to do, especially in today's day and age as well, because there's so much money in football. And we know that you guys will know the gap better than anyone after last season. The gap between the Championship, where you did how many points did you get in the Championship? I can't remember. And then you struggle so badly in the Premier League. It's night and days.
Totally. And the 3 that have gone up are the 3 that are favourites to come down.
Yeah.
The problem is for me, the way I look at it, whoever it is, whether it's us, yourselves, whoever, once you get in the Premier League, you've got to have ambition. That's what sport is all about. And look, we won the bloody thing and we didn't expect to. That was the big surprise. But then, having had that taste of success, we wanted it to continue. And for 2 seasons, 4 seasons possibly, we were getting European football under Brendan Rodgers. We'd finished 5th 2 seasons. We only just missed out on Champions League. And there's no way we thought the following season that we were going to go relegated. But PSR raised its ugly head with UEFA. Having been in the Europa League for 2 seasons, they'd come along and said, you're going to have to, cut your spending back. So we couldn't buy anybody. And that's what happened. I mean, we didn't quite go down the Leeds front when they tried to success. But it's like, as a fan, you're thinking, well, I want success for my club, but I ain't going to get it because I'm not allowed to spend.
Yeah, it's exactly what's happened to Villa this season as well. They gambled, they rolled the dice on getting Champions League football, didn't get it, and now they're sort of struggling. Again, even Hull to a degree, they were a couple of seasons ago when they had Liam Rosinia. January, they gambled and they spent so much money on these big loan players to push themselves into getting to the playoffs. Didn't happen. Again, me and a couple of guys were sort of saying, "Oh, this looks a bit dodgy for you," and the whole fans are fine about it. And now they're sort of last season, last season, they're sort of struggling down the bottom end because they haven't got the cash to spend. Obviously, they've got a fee ban at the moment as well because of sort of finances. But you've got the good thing about Doug King at the moment. Again, I say at the moment, it's going sort of well for us, our owner. He looks like he's doing everything sustainably for us, and obviously bought the stadium, so we can't sort of begrudge him that at all, even if it does go tits up. But you've got to do it sustainably in a proper way, but also you need to spend to accumulate. As well.
I'm looking. I want to talk managers now because, like I say, we've been through. We had Steve Cooper, and the fans just didn't take to him. I think we'd had Enzo the season before, which had been he'd been sprinkled with pet dust, so everybody loved him, and he got us playing. Some 17 points clear at the top at one point. He had us playing really well. Then he obviously buggered off to Chelsea. When we got a bit of money for him, and then we brought Cooper in, and there was just that disconnect. Do you know what I mean? But again, he wasn't given time. He was sacked, and we weren't even in the bottom 3. And then the biggest mistake in bringing Ruud van Nistelrooy in. I mean, his job interview was playing us twice and beating us twice, but I mean, Oldham could have played us and beaten us last season. That's how bad we were. But now we've got Marty Cifuentes. I mean, you mentioned Danny Roll before, who I have to say I think we dodged a bullet with on that, because I think he was like, again, is he coming? Isn't he coming? Is he staying at Sheffield Wednesday? Isn't he? What's going on? At one point, Sheffield Wednesday had 2 managers. because they put him on gardening leave. They promoted his number 2. And then if we wanted him, he couldn't come on. It was all absolutely so. And then Martin Cifuentes came out of left field totally, and it was like Danny Roll, but on without all the. I mean, he was on gardening leave. To be fair, wanted to pay his own, half of his own. Well, he did end up paying half of his own. To get suddenly somebody that wanted to be there. It was like great, and he plays the style that everybody wants to play these days, the 4-2-3-1. But we've suddenly got a manager who's got a plan B. We've got a manager that can actually get the team to go over the halfway line. I mean, last season, I've got to be honest with you, I just thought that the football was just played in one half.
Your half.
Because we went over the halfway line, the players got a nosebleed and had to come back in again. And I look at, like I say, Mark Robbins, and I know I go on about him and all, but look, you got your 1 EFL trophy win, 1 League 2 promotion, 1 League 3, League 1 promotion, an FA Cup semi-final, a playoff, thing as well. Why did he have to go? What went wrong?
Oh, that's a big debate to have, to be honest with Coventry fans. When you look at the form, our form around that sort of FA Cup win was not fantastic. We were not picking up a lot of points at the moment. We had a great win against Wolves in the FA Cup, if you remember that as well. Fantastic into that game. Brings back happy memories. Yeah, but around that sort of period of time, we weren't doing too well. So at the beginning, again, notoriously, we have very bad starts to the season. So from the beginning of the season to November, didn't do too well. Then we had a fantastic run from about November, December to February, March sort of period of time. And then the form really dropped off again, but it was masked by the Wolves game and the Man United game. Yeah. So the form wasn't fantastic in that period of time. And then we started the new season, and then we had that bad form again from beginning of the season to November. So the form was actually very, very bad. But the difference I felt in that period of time, looking back at it, obviously everyone was when it happened, everyone was shocked. But this is off the back of one of the worst performances I've seen against Derby. And Derby were a shocking team last season. Ironically lost twice to them last season. Good with Lampard as well, one of those. But it was off a really, really bad performance. And then the next day, he got the sack. I was one of the fans that sort of got over it a bit quicker than most. There were a few people that wanted to have gone prior as well. But when they just sort of settled a couple of days later, and you look at it, and you look at the form, and you look at the way we were playing, that beginning of the season just felt different. We weren't playing well. Chances were created here. It just felt very, very different. And there's a lot of made about it that his assistant coach A.D. Vivash had left as well, and the coaching structure has changed behind the scenes also. But it just looked like, again, I live around the corner from Loftus Road. So when I went to watch the Cov QPR game, I got my friend's ticket. He's a QPR fan, so I was in the enemy territory, and I was very close to Mark Robbins, and he was standing there by himself. There's no one sort of coming up to support him, to have a little word in his ear. He looked like a completely lost man at that point, and it felt like that for quite a while, that he was just by himself and sort of lost. There didn't seem to be that energy, which when you look at the sort of Stoke videos, the interviews he does now, you can tell he's got a little bit of a smile back on his face. He looks a bit more, he looked grey at one point. He just looked like I think his battery just ran out at that point. So it just felt very, very different. So looking back on it, and hindsight's a wonderful thing, it probably was the right call. It's a shocking call, the big call, a big boy call from Doug King. But it was probably the right call at that particular time, because when there's a certain point where managers sort of come to the end of the road, and I think that was for me personally, a lot of people will not agree with this, Coventry fans, but I think that it was the right time to sort of get rid. Very, very painful, because all the stuff he sort of, as I say, he gave us our club back, and what more how can you thank a man more than by sacking him in that case? But
we sat managers that win us the Premier League.
So there you go, Dilly Dong and all that. But so he was a fantastic man. But I'm sure we'll come on to it. But looking back at it now, the club seemed to have sort of, we were on this fantastic trajectory, but we seem to have gone up even further in that period of time as well now. So Yeah, I'd say hindsight's a wonderful thing. Again, probably took me about a week to sort of get over it, my shock and stuff. But then I was like, actually, do you know what? Form was horrific, and it wasn't just horrific at the beginning of the season. It was horrific from March to November. Obviously, we've got the summer period in the middle there.
Yeah.
And then if you look further back, we had a good. We probably had a bad. Again, this is my personal opinion. I've shared this on Twitter myself as well. We had a bad season apart from a purple patch and two fantastic FA Cup wins. Oh well, one win and one loss. That should have been a win. But we had a very good purple patch in that period of time. Where at the beginning of the season very bad, end of the season very bad start to the next season as well. So that's not sort of that tells you the story effectively. So there's a period in the middle there we did well. So yeah, when you look at it like that, and just looking at Robin's sort of stature at that particular time and the way he just looked drained and he looked grey and he was standing there by himself. He basically decided he didn't want an assistant manager. He wanted a flat coaching system. And then it used to be a bit of a joke. We used to have more iPads than coaches. We had about 5 coaches, and everyone had about 2-3 iPads on them and stuff. So I don't know what they're doing on them, but they look like they're having fun, whatever it was. But we weren't winning matches; we were picking up points really. So yeah, it's a bit of a long-winded answer, but I think personally, it was the right time to get rid. And in hindsight, Doug King got a lot of abuse for it. Well, I would say abuse, but he got a lot of sort of harsh words thrown his way. But he was proven right, or he is being proven right at the moment.
Yeah. And then, of course, you did every other club a favour, or we thought at the time, by taking on board Frank Lampard. We have
Super Frank.
We have one of my co-presenters, Brad, who is not a fan of the big names getting sort of all the jobs, like Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, who I think is actually probably the best of those, because I think when he was at Everton and he didn't have any money, he actually got them into the Champions League. But look, you look at Wayne Rooney at Birmingham. I mean, they got him in because he was the name, and he got them relegated. But everybody sort of says, "Oh God, no, we don't want," because we were linked with Steven Gerrard and we weren't linked with Frank Lampard, but it was one of those like, "Oh God, we want to try and avoid him." Now, Coventry City London Supporters Club, which I'm sure you know, I was talking to him and he goes, "I'm still not completely sold on Lampard personally. He's obviously done far better than expected, but playoffs last year was based on home form and one ridiculous run with everything either side a little ropey. Everything was set up for him to succeed by Robbins, the owner, but to be fair to him, we've obviously looked excellent this season so far and will make my final judgment at the end of the season. A sensible thing to do." Are they your thoughts? Or I mean, to be honest with you, I think he's doing all right for you.
He's doing very well. I'll yes and no to that statement. We did ride a luck a lot last season. We got a lot of last-minute winners and things like that. We notoriously, Lampard said, we've got a small squad last season. We did have a small squad last season. We've got an even thinner squad this season, so it's sort of not fantastic. But we've got 2 wingers. That's it, our whole squad, and we've got one striker who can play winger as well.
Yeah. So
last season, one of our wingers got injured, so we changed our formation to wing backs, 3 at the back, effectively, and we went solid. We weren't flamboyant. We just went solid, which is not very Frank Lampard sort of way of playing, and it worked. And then we went on this fantastic run of form. We did again ride a luck a hell of a lot in that period of time. We were getting a lot of last minute winners, and and so on and so on. But end of the day, he got us over the line. And that's what all that matters. And he's got that connect with the fans as well from effectively day one. And then what the gentleman said in that statement is very, very true. This season we have looked phenomenal. Absolutely, we haven't picked up maximum points. I think we're 1 point behind you at the moment as well. We haven't played the best teams in the world as well. If you look at the teams that we played, bar Norwich, they're all in the bottom third of the table. So they're not fantastic teams. But the Championship, as you guys vaguely remember from a couple of seasons ago, you obviously had that little patch around January, February time where anyone could beat anyone, and the championship brings up a lot of funny results. We played this
Those
season.
17 points very quickly went smaller and smaller.
Yeah, yes. There's a very nervy moment for you guys. Obviously, you brought it back, but I personally think again when the list of names came, again I would have loved Pep or Jose or Klopp or someone, but then unfortunately the names weren't linked to us at the time. So out of all the names that sort of linked to us, I think Lampard was the one that sort of stood out for me personally. And when you look at the sort of the numbers, obviously he did well at Derby, got into the playoffs. Again, that annoying pod think that who are Derby fans think they should have won the World Cup that year because they had certain players and stuff. But then when you look at the other teams that got promoted, and Villa had Jack Grealish and Tammy Abraham, the other teams had fantastic squads as well. So he got them into the playoffs just about. He got a very good result against Leeds as well. Obviously lost in the final. Is that a bad season? Yeah, he almost got it done, a bit like Robbins. Went to Chelsea. As you mentioned, they were under transfer embargo, had to promote a lot of youth players, got them into Champions League, which when you speak to Chelsea fans, they all still got warm words to say to Lampard, about Lampard. Again, a fantastic job. Second season, I don't think he got the transfers that he wanted, and that sort of was the beginning of the end. Again, I think they were 10th when he got sacked, but there was only a couple of points off from Champions League as well, so it wasn't as bad as it was made out to be. And that team went on to win the Champions League. As the London Supporters Club said, it's Mark Robbins' team that Lampard sort of took over. You could say the same argument there. Went to Everton, kept him up, which is no mean feat. His win record wasn't fantastic there, but it was not too dissimilar to Rafa, who's prior to him, and it wasn't too Sean Dyche, who was after him, not too dissimilar from there as well. So when you look at it, maybe Everton were the problem rather than the managers around that period of time. He went back to Chelsea, stupid decision, was shocking there. So when you look at that, I was more excited than most for him to come in and do the job. And then I say we rode quite a lot. We went back to a back three. Then when our wingers came back, we went back to the 4-3-3 again. Towards the end of the season, we did sort of. So yes, we did a Leicester basically, and the points started disappearing very quickly. But then obviously we did quite well in the playoff games. But again, it's a Mark Robbins squad. It's still effective years. But then this season we drew against Norwich at the weekend. Norwich, honestly, the worst tactics you ever going to see in your life. They were time wasters from minute one. The goalkeeper had to be told to hurry up after 5 minutes and stuff. So, but honestly, Norwich are a very good team in this league, and we played them off the park. I don't know if it was the fact that we were so good or Norwich were so anti-football, but we were brilliant. Obviously, QPR played into our hands, a very expansive team when they came to the CBS, absolutely destroyed them. We played against Derby's a very good sort of analogy of where Coventry are at the moment. We scored 5 goals, conceded 3, which we'll go into more detail later. But again, going forward, there's so much fluidity with the way we play, which is again down to Lampard and his coaching team. So, as a Coventry fan, I'm very excited the way we're playing and how we're performing at the moment. And that is down to Lampard and his coaches.
Yeah, you did. Like we said, just finishing off last season, you got into the playoffs. I mean, it's one of those. You were 7 points behind Sunderland, and I suppose the claim is that you did go out to the eventual winners. Did you feel that could have been your season? Did you have a good feeling about that?
No, not at all, really. I looking back at it, when Lampard got the job, we were 17. There wasn't a huge gap from 17 to 6, but we were in a bad sort of situation at the time, not with the squad and stuff, but with just the morale around the club. It was very sort of, it was deep, dark December. It was just gloomy in general, but there's a gloomy vibe around it. So I think most fans were saying if we get mid-table, we'll be happy. When we went on a fantastic run and we were on the verge of the playoffs, my personal opinion was if we get the playoffs, that's a good season. I thought Sheffield United were sure to get promoted, or Sunderland a close second. I don't think we had the squad to sort of do it, and our form wasn't fantastic, as I say, going into that sort of double header as well. Yeah, and I think that playoff game sort of really summed up how we were playing. We kept the ball brilliantly well in the 2 games. Almost sort of played them off the park, but the final third we were just toothless. And just couldn't put our chances away. Didn't really create too much as well. So then my personal thing was, let's get to the playoffs or attract players. We've got Lampard, obviously this whole sort of commercial thing behind Lampard as well, and we'll go and sign some players and sort of push on from there, which we've sort of done. We do. Coventry fans, I think we wanted a little bit more in the transfer window. Didn't really get it, but when after the first game against Hull, again it was very similar. It was brilliant, kept the ball, but again a bit toothless in the final third. And then from there onwards, we've sort of really clicked into sort of gear, not fully because we're missing a lot of chances still, creating a lot of chances, but still missing a lot of chances. So I'm just hoping that final piece of the jigsaw clicks for us. So hopefully on Saturday, 12:30, it all clicks into place.
Well, when I look at your stats, when you sat in sixth, 2 places behind us, just thought I'd. Well, I mean, was it after week 1 that I saw a Coventry thing on X going, where are Leicester? You know, we can't see Leicester. Look, it's bad.
Unfortunately, all fans have got them. They've got those ones that just take it. Yeah.
And like I said, but that's why I love the banter. And this is why I miss the derbies so much, because there's just that extra edge to the banter. You did start, like you say, with that 0-0. You then went, and I think this is why your stats look so good, because when I was checking them, I have this thing that gives a prediction, the win probability. We've got a win probability of 39%. You've got a win probability of 32%. So it's very, very close. But you just had 2 unreal games. I mean, an 8-game thriller. I don't know if it was a thriller. I'm saying that as somebody who didn't watch it. Beating Derby 5-3. And then, my God, nobody got this in the prediction league. Coventry City 7, Queen's Park Rangers 1. And I'm thinking my start of the season prediction, because I've got you in the playoffs at the end of the season.
I'll take that.
And I've got us. I haven't got us getting promoted. I've got us in the playoffs as well. And I'm thinking, like, wow, where the hell did that come from? I mean, and this is somebody that's watched his own team beat Southampton 9-0. Those are the days that you love, aren't they?
Yes, yeah. It was stats again. I don't like stats, but then I use stats a lot in my arguments as well. But then the QPR game and the Norwich game are 2 perfect examples of stats. We scored 7 goals against QPR, and I think our XG was 1.11, I think, which was great. Again, the goals that we scored were all cracking goals as well. And then on Saturday against Norwich, we scored 1 goal in the 96th minute, and our XG was 4 point something. So I just look at it. You either put the ball in the back of the net or you don't. Simple as that, really. Yeah. Again, possession is fantastic to have possession, but possession doesn't win you games. So on and so on. So again, stats you can use to any which way to sort of fulfill your argument in that case as well. But just looking at it, the style of play that we're playing at the moment is very good. I think it's what most sort of fans really want, where we've got this nice high press. Our defence sort of push up a lot. Our fullbacks are effectively wingers, and our wingers sort of tucking a little bit and stuff. So it's and the fluidity of the forward line is fantastic. We've got Matt Grimes, who's just a Rolls Royce of a player at this level, who just completely dictates games for us. Victor Torp has really stepped up this season as well. Technically brilliant player. Jack Rodoni, we all know what Jack Rodoni did last season, and you'll see his lovely little twinkle toes on Saturday, dribbling past all your defenders, I hope. But I personally think that trio in the middle are probably one of, if not the best midfield unit in the league. Honestly, the way they sort of dictate games is phenomenal. Only problem for us is our defence is a bit leaky, let's say. We signed Carl Rushworth on loan. I've wanted Rushworth for a couple of seasons before we got Oliver Doverty, unfortunately, to the ACL. He was having a very good season. He's looked a bit iffy, I would say, at the moment. He's a young lad still. And I think most Coventry fans always knew that we needed a centre-back for the last 2 seasons. Again, 2 very good defenders, but they make silly mistakes. Again, all the goals, we've conceded about 8 goals, I think, this season. Only one of them has been from open play, which shows you a lot. So they're very solid, but we give away a lot of silly goals. And I remember at one point last season we had a period of time where I think there was something like, again, don't quote me if this is correct, but we had the last 8 shots on target, we conceded 7 goals. And the goal against Norwich just felt the exact same thing. We were completely dominant for 15 minutes, and then Norwich came in for 2 minutes, had one shot, and scored their goal. And that's what they did all game. So if there's one thing you can exploit is our backline, effectively. Again, I don't think you'll be hard to find a Coventry fan that thinks we're going to keep a clean sheet any game this season. To be honest with you, we've signed Wolfenden. Maybe he'll make a difference, but yeah we can see goals.
I think this game could probably end up 5-5 then, because you could have just described Leicester. 4-2-3-1, is that Frank's preferred formation?
4-3-2. Yeah. So basically, I'd say we obviously have two centre backs. There's a fantastic commentary content creator called Match Plot, I think it is, and he did a little preview of the game and he puts a lot of stats in. So the way that we play, you guys take your defence a little bit deeper than ours, and your tackle line's a little bit deeper than ours as well. Our backline's a bit more more advanced, and our forward line press a bit higher as well. So the way we sort of play, we tend to leave two defenders at the back. Matt Grimes sort of drops in the middle of them, and so almost like a quarterback sort of role. Our fullbacks push up really, really high. Torp just pops up in little places. Rodoni will pop up on the left wing, the right wing, and sort of make darts into the middle. And the front three are quite fluid in the way they sort of move as well. So it's very much a high attacking press kind of play. But then, as at least, it's very susceptible. Again, personally, and I'm on a Leicester show here, but I do think that you guys are there for the taking. There's not many times that Coventry have been this confident of getting a result, especially at King Power as well. But two players that sort of scare me are your wingers, and I think this game could be really, really sort of open for them, because I say our fullbacks do tend to bomb on a little bit, and then we sort of have three at the back with Matt, including Matt Grimes. He's not the biggest of guys, but he reads the game brilliantly well. And obviously Jordan Ayew, again, I don't rate him massively, but he's a really good pro. Good at pressing and all that sort of stuff, and your wingers could have a field day, which is the thing that sort of scares me a little bit. But obviously, we've got some threats ourselves as well, so it could be a classic 5-5.
It could be, yeah. I mean, Jordan Ayew. It was one of those when we bought him under Steve Cooper. Steve Cooper went for experience over youth, although for experience you could read old. But the interesting thing is, look, we went down in our last game. We went down to 10 men because the players that we brought in have all been loans with options to buy, or free signings. Because of course we've sold a lot because we're trying to balance the books. But the fact that when you look at this, and I think a lot of teams actually look at us and go, "This is the team that was so awful last year," and apart from 4 signings, it's the same team. And yet we've lost, if you like, the best of those, the awful players from last season, because they've gone out, we've sold them. And yet, Marty Cifuentes, the game, I mean, it was Coventry. It was just like probably the best team goal I've seen Leicester score for like years. It was lovely, triangle passing, cutting through. The wingers we've got, they're going to cause you trouble if they're in the mood. Fatawu, if you let him cut inside you, then it's as good as probably he'll get at least one goal because he's got such a left foot up.
I find we're going to compliment him massively here, but I find him a bit like Iron Robin. You know what he's going to do. Everyone, the whole stadium knows what he's going to do. He sort of jinks out to the right and then somehow cuts back inside quite quickly. I've seen the. I watched 2 games I watched for you guys. One was the Birmingham game, which I think that's how the game on Saturday is really going to go, where we'll dominate sort of possession. You guys will sort of sit back and counter us, which I think will be quite sensible for you guys. And then the other game was Charlton, which I think Charlton absolutely battered you. But this stupid right wing guy who should not be in this league because he's too flipping good, comes out and pulls out that goal. Was absolutely ridiculous. And then, ironically, Coventry could have scored a hat-trick against you if he had shooting boots on. But he did it against another team as well. I think Fatu as well. He scored an absolute cracker.
Fatu, I think it was the Fiorentina game, the last friendly before the season started.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, and he actually had the ball on the wing, flicked it over the Fiorentina player, ran round him, got the ball.
From its own half.
And ran up. I don't know whether he scored or he missed, but I'm thinking, I think he scored, and I'm thinking, like, what a bloody move. He's passing to himself here, But
Me and one of my friends, when you've had a bit of a shopping sale recently, buy any player you want, and every time you're selling one player, we're like, another one. But every time, please factory go. Unfortunately, you believe gets kept him. So yeah, he's the real danger man.
He was injured. I think it was an ACL. He was out for 9 months or whatever. So, I don't think people were, whether we'll hold on to him in January. I hope we will, obviously. But who knows if he'd be. I don't think if he was fit, we'd have stayed up because we had, Ruud van, Dickelroy in charge. I don't know, it would have stayed up anyway. But, when you look at Charlton, when you're looking at saying that this is the same team that went 19 games without getting a point, and I think it was about 10 games without scoring a goal, and yet Marty's got us playing the way he has. And look, everybody's going to want to, look, there's us, there's Southampton, there's Ipswich. Those are three teams that everybody's going to want to beat in this division because we've just been relegated. So we're out there like last time with the target on our back. When you beat us, was it 3-1? I think in the second game last time we were down.
Don't pretend you forgot that. That was
I'm trying. We won the first one. First one. But the way you guys celebrated, you think you'd have. And I give you that. I'll give you that because, like I say, it's a derby. And we were at the top, and you beat us, and you deserve. At the time, it was a bit of a joke and a bit of a fuck off Coventry. But in fairness, in retrospect, we had that target on our back. You hit the target. You outplayed us. You won it, and that's what we've got to put up with this season. It was only 10 years ago we were winning the Premier League.
Yeah. That game, obviously, we did celebrate, and it's that sort of same thing. Little old Coventry again. At that time, you were. Big boys, Leicester just got relegated. Obviously, I say now probably because of the financial situation, maybe a bit of more of a level playing field. I feel going in on Saturday, but you cannot forget. Fair enough that you guys got relegated, but that starting 11 is predominantly the most of them are the Premier League team, and we discussed the big gap there. So you still got your. I don't know why you don't play Pereira. I don't know how the child you play the right back.
Again, he's in his last year. If he was fit, he should be one of the first names on the sheet.
He's one of those players I think is too good for this league. I think every time I see him play, he's doing something magical. Then your two fullbacks, very good fullback. I really like your centre backs as well. Very good. Probably the goalkeeper, he surprised me a little bit. Again, your midfield too. Both played in the Premier. I think you're one of them somewhere.
Don't stop that. You're liking players we hate at the moment.
I know Skip's had a bit of abuse as well recently, and the other fellow that will begin the S.
Samara.
He looked like a good player on one day. Next day he looks absolutely trash. Harry Winks obviously on the bench. He's got a good reputation. So. Again, these are you may not like them, but they're sort of good, solid players, especially at this level.
Sorry, you said a word there that isn't associated at the moment with Samare, and that's good. But that said, look, all the players. When Marty came in, I said all the players get a clean. It's a fresh start. It's a flying. Yeah. I can't stand Wout Faes, but. Under Marty, he's done all right, when he's come on. So fair play, I'll give him my support. Last year he was pretty awful, and that's what we've got to try and get out of our minds. But everybody gets the clean slate. And you've got to think that Marty's first game, because we couldn't sack Ruud when we wanted to, because we'd already sacked Steve Cooper in that season. So if we sacked Ruud and had to pay him off, because he wasn't going to walk, obviously, why when you're going to get paid off?
No one does anymore. No one does.
No. So we couldn't afford to sack him until the start of the new financial year for us. So when Marty came in, actually in charge in the dugout, his first game was Fiorentina. So when you come to think, these first 6 games, we had the cup game, which we got we lost as well by Huddersfield, who obviously was a championship team last season.
Yeah.
But the 5 games that he's played in the league so far are actually 5 of his only 7 games in charge at Leicester. Most managers, when they start the season, they've done that with friendlies.
Yeah.
So he's still getting that. And we're starting to see week on week an improvement. And I say Skip and Samari, we like them, but they're starting to maybe think, we're looking and thinking, well, maybe, just maybe. But we got what we were asking for. I mean, the goalkeeper's fantastic. Not missing Mads Manson at all for me. I don't think West Ham would do.
I was going to say he looks. I'm going to rate him as goalkeeper. He looks absolutely shocking at West Ham. I don't know what happened. He looked really good for you guys last season as well. He saved you a hell of a lot of times.
He did, but when he was injured again, and then he was brought back too soon. We should have stuck with Everson, who had done nothing wrong. And I'm never one of these that says bring back a player just because suddenly they're fit. Unless the guy that's replaced him is having an awful game, unless, of course, it's Jamie Vardy, then you immediately bring him back. But, yeah, I know West Ham fans hate him, but no, Everson's not Everson, he's gone to Preston. Stolarczyk is a good goalkeeper. But we brought in Jordan James, who you may remember a couple of seasons ago, Birmingham, who scored a great goal. And he really is saying all the right things. He's not been happy. I think it was France he went to. He's not happy at all. He wants to come back. And obviously Leicester's very close to his hometown of Birmingham. So, hopefully he looked okay. He only came on for a few minutes at the end of the game against Oxford. We've got Aaron Ramsey, not the old guy, the young guy from Burnley, who liked to make an impression on his debut.
Fantastic.
Yeah. He actually was not in the game at all. Had a shot, a fairly decent shot, to be honest with you, which the Oxford keeper saved. And then he decided to go in for a tackle. Why? I do not know. It was nowhere. It was level with their penalty box. There's no need to do that. And he got. I mean, was it a sending off? Yes, I've got to say.
Again, I'm old school footballer. I think that's harsh, personally.
I like watching ITV, the match revisited.
Yes,
because you see the tackles going in on those. But today's. Had it been in the Premier League, it had gone to VAR. It would have been a sending off. He had his foot up, and we were fighting. We got the 2-2 draw. What we haven't seen is our new striker yet, Carranza. The jury's out on him. I'd love him to come on or start at the weekend and get a hat trick. That would be very, very nice. Thank you very much. But. Yeah, Mavididi on one wing and Fatu on the other. We've obviously lost El Canoes. The wingers are going to cause you trouble. But we've got our secret weapon.
The Cov lad.
I don't know the Cov lad. We don't call him the Cov lad.
He's one of our own. He's born and bred in Coventry. Give him back.
Won't he love it if he scores a goal against you?
I'm sure he was young when he left Coventry, from all accounts that I know. So I think he was. Yeah, I think he was at Coventry Academy when he was tiny, apparently. But then he moved to Birmingham. Leicester. Sorry, when he was about 6, 7 or something. I think so. It's a long time ago. So the guy is unreal. To be honest with you, the one thing that Ruud van Nistelrooy that I will give him credit for is convincing him to stay, because Man City were after him, and another big club were after him, and he convinced him to sign a contract and stay with us, which means we can keep him for so long because it's a youth contract. The guy isn't going to start many games. He is better as an impact sub coming on, and this is the silly thing. When you come to think, it's a long season, 46 games, and he's got homework to do.
Yeah, he's studying for his A levels.
You get a few of the fans to do it while he's playing.
Yeah, I know. Who did your homework, Jeremy?
Yeah.
If he comes on, and this is when he's at his best, and from what you were saying about your defenders, if he comes on, usually about the 60-minute mark, 65 minutes, comes on, 20 minutes left, your defence is a little bit tired, he could run you ragged.
Only problem there, we've got on that side, we've got Milan Van Oorbeek, who runs 95 minutes a game, so he's full of energy. But again, it's just going to be that sort of that overload. We can get because Milan sort of pushes on quite. He'll be sort of push depending on who we put on the right wing. He'll be pushing on quite far, so there will be some spaces there. Depending if we've got Bobby Thomas on that side or Luke Wolfenden, he may make his debut. Thomas is known for making a few rash challenges. Some fresh legs could cause him problems, as you say, and that's just again if you got sort of Mavididi and Fatu running at you for 70 odd minutes, and then all of a sudden this young 16-year-old lad, 17-year-old lad comes on, then you think, oh bloody hell, not this one now again. So this it could be a long day for them all. But I think when you look at it, I think the two teams are just perfectly matched. At the moment, they're just perfectly matched to play each other because there's so many weaknesses that they can both take advantage of. Phil,
what do you like with free kicks?
Who? Sorry, Coventry in general. So we've conceded 8 goals this season, most of them from set pieces. So we've conceded once against Norwich this Saturday with open play. All 7 goals prior to that were from corners, free kicks, long throw-ins. So 7 were from there. So that's our chink in our armour massively. Don't make notes, please. Note to Marty. Between you and I.
I'm just making a long throw in. Carry on.
Set pieces. Again, the one.
And what about the other end? Do you score a lot? Because that is one of our major weaknesses against us. We gave away so many fouls just outside the box.
If you concede a free kick in a shooting position, you're in trouble because you've got Victor Torp, who's technically fantastic. He's got such a lovely free kick on him. So again, every time at the weekend he was in sort of shooting range, you could see the panic in Norwich players' eyes, and they were just literally all diving in and trying to block his shots and so. Against Oxford, scored a absolute cracking free kick. He looked like he's one of those free kicks you think is a bit too close. You would like it to be 5 yards back, but the way he got it over and down on that wall was absolutely fantastic. So that's brilliant. Corners, we used to score quite a lot of corner goals. Again, Bobby Thomas, for all his again, he's a very good defender, but he just makes stupid mistakes. He's a real threat in the box. He's probably our biggest threat in the box. Scores probably about 5-6 goals a season. So that's a big thing for us. We used to score a lot from corners. In that period of time, Jack Rodoni used to score. He's luckily for us, as of last game, he's back on corner. We used to get Grimes and Torp to take the corners, but it looks like it's Grimes and Rodoni now. Hopefully it'll be Rodoni and Torp, who both got some fantastic dead ball technique. So we used to score quite a lot of goals from corners, set pieces. Died off a little bit at the moment, but it's for you. I think it's going to be just the fluidity of the way our attack performs. The movement and the way they're playing is an absolute joy. I'm sure you'll appreciate it as well. It's an absolute joy in the eyes. But yeah, if again, we signed Luke Wolfenden, really good player from Ipswich. Obviously got Premier League experience last season. He came from League One, got promoted with Ipswich League One, got promoted from the Premier League, from Championship to Premier League with Ipswich as well. We were in for Charlie Hughes, who's at Hull captain or vice captain. I think he was 21 years old. I was really keen for us to get him. They wanted quite a big fee, but then after our game against Derby, I was like, actually, and a lot of fans sort of changed their mind and thought Wolfenden is probably the one we need really. A bit cheaper, which is not a major thing because Coventry are minting now loads of money, unlike you guys. But yeah, we were just a case of we need a little bit more experience, a bit of a wiser head back there. So I think Wolfenden, not to say that Charlie Hughes is a bad player, I think Wolfenden's probably a bit more what we needed. I don't know if he'll come in to the team because obviously, as it's going to be a spicy game, I feel, on Saturday. I don't know if for his debut if that's sort of the right call. But yeah, I say that you'll be hard pressed to find a Coventry fan that thinks we're going to get a clean sheet in the foreseeable future. To be honest with you, that is our big problem.
What I was writing down, funnily enough, was corners and long throws. Like I say, free kicks will probably give you 6 or 7, easily. Corners we used to be really, really bad at, and we could never get it past the first man. It was like, what? Now Jordan Ayew puts on corners, and he's really good at them. Now with Aaron Ramsey, obviously now misses 3 games. We think Ayew may drop into that number 10 role, and Carranza, the striker we've signed, start.
Yeah.
So if he is gonna play, and he's very good, Ayew. He scored important goals for us, but he's very good at holding the play up, and he's very good at getting free kicks. He knows how to play. He's the old head. He knows how to, hold up and get the free kick.
And I think the centre backs love giving away silly free kicks for a smart player as well. So that could cause problems, which is not good.
And long throw-ins, Luke Thomas. He's got a decent long throw on him. So
ours is our right back, Milan van Erwijk. He loves a long throw, so he'll do them from both sides. He'll go to the left side if down there as well.
Yes.
They work one every 10-15, but it's a good thing to see, I guess, to put a bit of pressure in the box.
Last but one question, because the last one will be the score prediction. So but one section. It's in 2 parts. What do you hope for Coventry this season? Realistically, what do you think you'll do, and what do you think, as an opposition fan, Leicester will do this season?
Okay, so Coventry, again, my hope is a playoff position. I think our squad is too thin. If we sign a few more players, I think we could have. I think this league's open for anyone to sort of take hold of. Ipswich haven't started fantastically. Obviously, against Sheffield United, I thought they did well, but that was mainly probably down to Sheffield United again. You didn't play too bad, but they haven't. I've seen them in a couple of games. Haven't looked fantastic. I saw the again. Don't people classify this derby? There's the Saints Pompey derby. I thought it was a horrific game. Every time I've seen Saints play, haven't really impressed me that much. But again, new manager, quite a few players. It may take time to gel and stuff as well. And then you've got teams like Sheffield, obviously yourselves. Again, the only thing we'll come on to in a moment is the point deduction with yourselves. That could sort of have a knock-on effect. And there's rumours that maybe a double points deduction because you guys were very naughty boys with your books as well. So for Coventry, I think if we had a good window, again, I say this, the fact that we kept all our star players as well, all the players, Milan van Erwijk, Haji Wright, Jack Rodoni, who rumored to be signing a new contract soon, we kept all those, our core players. And this is the team that's been together for probably 2 years now, a solid unit that's been put together for 2 years. Our problem, and you may see this on Saturday, is the depth we've got. We don't really have anyone that's a game changer coming off the bench, really. We'll either play Thomas Asante on the right wing or Tat Sakamoto on the right wing, and that's probably the only change we can really make to make an impact on the game. The rest are sort of more like your Josh Eccles, who come in and do solid jobs, or a defender that comes in, or we'll get Miguel Brau, who signed from Spain recently, who's a left back, maybe pay him at left wing. So it's sort of making do, which I think causes problems. We've started obviously much better than we normally do in most seasons. So even though we're only 6 and we're, I think, 9 points, 1 point behind you, it's a lot better than what we typically do in the past. So I think probably, again, we finished only 5th, 6th in the last couple of seasons and missed out prior seasons to that. I personally hope a good solid 4th will be a really good season for us. If we're in around the playoffs around January and we get 1-2 players in, then I think we can really push because we've got a very, very good... Our starting 11, I think, on honest day can beat anyone in this league. The starting 11 is absolutely really, really good. I'm really, really sort of like happy and proud of the team that we're sort of becoming the way we're playing at the moment. But yeah, it's just that after that starting 11, again, look, touch wood, Matt Grimes never really gets injured. Yeah. If he gets injured, we're in trouble. If Torp gets injured, we've got Josh Eccles coming back from injury. We've got Jamie Allen, who people know I'm not a massive fan of. If Haji Wright gets injured, we've got Ellis Sims, who's not really doing that fantastic. If one of our wingers get injured, there's not really much depth there to, again, make the impacts and stuff as well. So again, I think from now until the next international break, we've got one game a week, and then we've got one game a week, but a Millwall game in the middle as well. So not too many games. After that international break, that's when I think the games come thick and fast, which I think
they do. Yes, they do, yeah.
That period of time will not make a break our season, but as long as we can sort of be in and around that playoff place, and then sort of get sort of reinforcements in January, I think we'll do well. But my hope is a good solid fourth. Good solid fourth for yourself. I think you sort of playing down your team a little bit earlier, but I think you've still got a very, very good team. Again, especially starting 11, very, very good starting 11 team. Again, I don't know too much, but maybe there's sort of the depth maybe lacking a little bit. Obviously, Ramsey's gone out.
No, the depth actually is Marty, when he came in, he wanted to get rid of more players than he brought in because he said the squad's too big.
Okay.
He said, I prefer a smaller squad. And I know, obviously, your decision's going to obviously depend on, like you said, the points deduction.
That's the big thing, yeah. And also how much is that points deduction going to be? Obviously, there's rumours of potentially two 9-pointers, which is completely going to screw your season up. Again, this is why I always feel that it's very unfair to not do it at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Because... Again, let's say you get this information. I doubt they'll do it tomorrow, but let's say you got it tomorrow. It's just going to put a massive grey cloud over your team in the middle of the season. So sort of any sort of momentum that you have built up is completely gone and sort of dead. And if you have a couple of bad results because of that, it could completely derail your season. So I think that's a massive sort of deciding factor. But I think. I personally think Ipswich will win the league. I think they'll sort of could come good eventually. I think second position's up for grabs, depending on who sort of you can sort of take it. And I did initially think Saints would get it, but again, I'm a bit iffy on that at the moment. But again, they have signed a lot of players and stuff. Sheffield, Wilder's come back in now. I think they'll do well now, but again, for example, Coventry 9 points ahead in 6th place. It's almost like you get a 9-point deduction. Similar sort of scenario, really, isn't it? Could that derail your sort of season? They'll sort of come back and maybe get a playoff sort of place as well. And then you got the noisy neighbours, Birmingham, coming in. I think they've realised it's a bit harder than what they thought they'll do, but I still think they'll have a good season. But I think you guys, depending on the point deduction, will either be sort of 3rd, 4th, maybe, or 5th, 6th. If it is an 18-point deduction, then a different story. But if it's sort of 9 points, I think you've got the quality in your squad to sort of overcome that and sort of maybe get a sort of lower place. Yeah,
I think the 9 points is what I'm expecting and what we kind of we're all hearing. I think if you're talking about a double 9 points, then you might as well just let us. Just relegate as well, I wouldn't
say relegation, but I wouldn't say relegation. Again, you've got Fatwa and Mavadidi will make up points for you. You've got a good solid unit of a team there. You've got Daka as well on the bench. That fella, I don't know how much money he spent on him. Every time I've seen him play, he's absolutely shocking. Daka, I've never seen him have a good game in my life.
No way. Well, no, we did. We saw him good. Tom was starting. Hi, Tom, how you doing? He'll back me up on this. We did have one good game. That was the first game in Europe he played for. We were playing Moscow. We won, I think, 4-1, and he scored all 4 goals.
Oh, wow.
And it was like he got that in, and then that was it. He's fucking awful. He really.
Honestly,
what he'll do, because they'll bring him on as a substitute, and he did this against Charlton, I think it was. Or Preston, possibly, is the goalkeeper had it, and he's as fast as Vardy, probably faster now, and he closed the goalkeeper down, so made the goalkeeper pass it to a defender to his left. He then closed that defender down and made him pass it to the right. Yeah. So, but scoring goals, forget it. Well,
incoming Daka hat trick now. Now they're taking the Saturday.
Oh, of course, if you get that. He's a fantastic player. Brilliant.
I think even with your point deduction, you've got as painful as it is for me to say, I think you've got a very good squad. But again, especially in that starting 11 as well. I do think you've got you're probably a top striker away from being a top team. I think again, not a bad player, but again, it's
he's not an out street, not a 20-goal a season striker. Hopefully,
exactly.
Will be.
Well, hopefully we don't see that on Saturday. But I think your wingers will carry you far this season. And then the fact that you've got Jordan James, you've got Skipper, I know not fans' favourite, Samaru, keep forgetting his name, and you've got Winks as well. That's a solid midfield quartet really there. Also Ramsey coming back. You've got a couple of good, obviously Monga, Page as well, some good youth players, which I think, again, living on the corner from QPR, as I mentioned a couple of times, I think last season in the Marty sort of really kicked off when they brought their youth players in. I think it sort of gives you a bit of life. And when you see these young lads come off the bench, the crowd sort of gets up and stuff as well. And I say your centre-backs, I think your centre-backs have been fantastic this season from what I've seen. I've seen the 2-3 games. I think they've done really well.
Again, players that were kind of written off this season, Vestergaard and Faze, who I can't stand, but like I said earlier, fair play to him, a good season.
The other fellow,
McCauley?
Yes, he looks
like
he's
brilliant. Yeah,
he looks good. He looks
like taking him, but it should be a Coley and who,
Yeah,
and we've got Nelson come back.
Vestergaard, I think, has done really well for you. Thomas, I'm not too sure about Thomas on the left. And I think you're again. Chowdhury is a very, very handy player in this league. And Pereira, again, I think if you got Pereira and Factor on that right, then that's. Yeah, he got
the equaliser against Oxford, did Ricardo?
Yeah, and even against Birmingham as well. Scored a little goal, came out of nowhere, popped up. So he's
on a lot of money. He's on 75 grand a week, and if he's not going to be starting, at the start of the season, 6 of the 10 most highly paid players in the Championship were Leicester players, and this is one of the problems. We've still got the highest, which is Winks on 90 grand a week, but it's his last year, so he's not going to be with us next year. But I mean, I said right at the start that I've got Coventry to finish in the playoffs, and I think you will, because you've got that momentum going from last season. You've had a couple of really good games. I'm hoping that you're not going to reproduce the QPR form on Saturday. So I think you'll be in the playoffs. You've knocked at the door a couple of times, and this could be the season when you actually go through it. For Leicester, it will all depend on the points deduction. I haven't said at any point that we will get automatic promotions. I don't think we will. I think we can get playoffs. If we do, depending on the points deduction, if we finish just outside the playoffs, so be it, because that will give us another year down in the second tier when all these youngsters we're talking about, the Mongas, the Pages, the Alves, all those will be coming good.
You get rid of your big weight, you get rid of your Winks, get your Pereiras as well, unfortunately on free transfers. But then it's almost like a bit of a reset for you guys. And you still got your parachute payment as well, so you still got a chunk of money, and you still got the sort of the Leicester City. We're a big club in this small league kind of vibe around you as well. So you should be able to track players and stuff coming in as well. So I personally, again, I think as you said, it all depends on this points deduction. But even regardless, unless it's a massive one, I think you'll be in and around that sort of playoff position. Again, if you get a 9-pointer, I think you'll probably lower playoffs. If it's small, then I think you should be.
I'm hoping that they're looking at us and going, well done, Leicester. You've not paid anything on the players you brought in because they're all loans. And, the 3 outfield players are loans. 2 of them there's the option to buy, but that's going to be next season. You've got a lot of, you've sold a lot of players. We've bought 70-odd million pounds in by selling players. Quite a few of those on 50+ a week, grand a week wages. So hopefully they'll look at that and go, fair enough, you're making an effort, But we'll see. Going to end now, but I'm going to ask you your prediction, which I'm presuming is going to be a Coventry win. But by how many, sir?
I'm one of these dumb Coventry fans that I think, even if we're playing Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, I still think we'll nick a point or something. I'm one of those sort of dumb fans. But as I mentioned, this is probably the first time in a long time that Coventry fans have actually felt confident playing not just Leicester, but any team in this league, really. Just we're playing very, very good football, and I think our starting 11 can sort of compete with most. So at the moment, we've still got that sort of nice fit starting 11. I've gone with, drum roll, 3-1 Coventry win.
Oh,
3-1.
Right. Now, this is the game that so far has worried me the most. I think you're the best team that we've played yet this season. Second team that was behind that was actually Birmingham. I thought they would really cause us problems, having just come up and on the roll of how they were last season. And we made Birmingham. Yes, they had all the possession, but what did they do with it? Nothing. And then I thought,
that's what I was going to say. That's been their season all season, though. They're very good at pressing, but they've got no sort of final ball.
Yeah. The thing is, as well, when I look at last week's game, down to 10 men, really, we went 2-1 down before half time. We haven't made any changes. Really, Oxford, although they're not doing well themselves, but any team higher up than that should really have gone on and finished us off. But they didn't. We got back into the game with the 10 men. So that's good. Now, my drum roll is going to be a backward drum roll because I've actually gone the same as you, but the other way round. I've gone 3-1 to Leicester. My thought behind that is you will score a goal. I had actually originally gone 2-1, but to be different to my co-host who went 2-1, I actually changed mine to 3-1. So that's quite interesting that we've both gone for the same.
Yeah. Again, it's more sort of hope than anything else. But again, on a point about Oxford, in that game, we should have at halftime. We should have been, again, stupid goal we gave away, silly free kick, and they scored direct from free kick. We should have been outside 4-5-1 up at halftime. The only bad 45 minutes we've had is against Oxford as well. So for us, this was the game before, they really turned it up. So again, they've got it in them. So hats off to you that you sort of down to 10 men. It sort of shows a little bit of grit in your team and a bit of sort of.
Well, that's the thing that again we haven't seen for 18 months. I'm hoping that this will be sort of the same outcome as last time you played us at the King Power. You remember that one? As you said to me, remember that one?
You haven't got your star boy anymore, remember? You haven't got your star boy who saved you that day. Long gone.
We
haven't got our star boy, Gus Hamer. I think that was his last. No, he played one more game after that. Yeah, we haven't got him as well. But we got some good stuff. Again, it's as I say, when I think about it, it's two not completely different teams, but two completely different styles of teams as well. But they sort of they can it could be a magical game to watch because there's a lot of areas that we can exploit of yours and vice versa. You can exploit of us as well. So it's going to be a bit of a chess match, I feel.
As they say, let's hope football's the winner. No, fuck off. Let's hope Leicester are the winner.
No chance.
But, hey, I would be more than happy, as long as we get promoted as well, for you to go up, because I have said to you many times, I love derby matches. There's just that extra little edge that I like about it. And obviously, I do hope we stuff you twice this season. It would be nice to have us both go up,
I would say, as much as I hate, again, it's that nice friendly rivalry you have against Midlands teams. But I wish the Premier League was stacked full of your West Bromwich, your Birmingham, your Villas, your Leicester, your Derby. I just wish they were all sort of in there and sort of battling out with each other. Again, unfortunately, when we are in there, we're all sort of relegation fodder. But hopefully, some of us can sort of crack it and do the Midlands sort of proud. But obviously, Coventry being the best out of the bunch, obviously.
Yeah. Give everybody a shout out as to where you can find you. I've put your link in the description below so that people can click on that, but just give a shout out.
Yeah, so it's SkyBJ. Obviously, you want to listen to some lovely commentary tweets abusing the fans and stuff. Actually, I'm quite nice. I like friendly banter and stuff, so I'm not sort of too mean to everyone. I do a podcast as well called on the Terrace Talks, called Skyby Wake. Yeah, so catch me there if you want to know anything about Coventry. We'd obviously do a few pods afterwards as well, so you can get a Coventry perspective of how we dismantled G31 and how we battered you. So if you want to hear my opinion on that, tune in.
And if we don't hear a podcast, we'll know that we've beaten you.
Definitely, yeah. Twitter will be deleted.
Yeah. Look, I don't wish you luck on Saturday, and you won't wish us luck. But for the rest of the season, mate, I'm so glad you're still with us, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming on.
Pleasure.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks very much there to Jay. His link is in the description below. Sky Blue Jay. He came on at the very last minute and helped us out with the preview, which was better than Oxford did because they didn't turn up at all, if you remember. But look, we're going to be back tomorrow lunchtime, and I can't say more than that because I don't know what Kate's going to get. But Kate's going to She's going to pick her 11 that she thinks should start against Coventry on Saturday morning. Join me then. Thanks to Tom for popping in. And like, subscribe, share, all the usual stuff. And if you're on podcast, thanks for lending me your ears. I'll see you tomorrow lunchtime. Not here tomorrow night at all. I'm off to see Francis Rossi of Status Quo. I've got a meet and greet with him, so I'm looking forward to that. I interviewed him a couple of years ago, for the radio station. Lovely, lovely guy. Looking forward to it. But see you tomorrow lunchtime. Don't do anything I wouldn't enjoy. Good night.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You'd better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.